afternoon, everyone. I'm so very happy to see so many participants today in our prevention talks. We are excited to have many behind-the-scenes assistants. My name is Heather Winkelpleck, and I'm with WSU Community Engagement Institute, and we are joined behind the scenes with Janelle, Chad, Michelle, and Austin. We're all here to provide some behind-the-scenes assistance and also to be engaged in today's very interactive conversation. Prevention Talks is a monthly opportunity for members of local prevention coalitions to connect peer-to-peer learning and have a wonderful exchange of ideas. But first, I'm going to ask Janelle to give us kind of a tutorial of sorts using the technology that we will have for today and for always for our monthly Prevention Talks opportunity.
All right, thank you, Heather. So I'm going to start with just a tour of your screen. If you haven't joined on Adobe before, this is just a brief rundown. A lot of the discussion today will be typed in the chat box where many of you guys are already welcoming by just listing who you are and where you're from, so keep doing that. Please know that a transcript of today's discussion will be made public on the Kansas Prevention Collaborative website. And below that is a listing of everyone in the room, so you can use the scroll bar to see who else has joined today. All of these boxes, you can use the scroll bar to be able to see earlier in the chat as well. So although most of the discussion on Prevention Talks is usually typed in the chat box, today we are going to do things a little bit different. So later on we're going to put up poll questions where you can answer the question and type it in, and then we will open up the mics for anyone to share more about what they typed in the poll. So if you are interested in opening your mic, you can do that at the top of your screen where you see the little phone icon. You can click that to connect your audio, and then you can also use that icon to mute yourself. So if the phone icon is green, then your mic is live and we will be able to hear you. If the phone icon is red, that means you are muted or your mic is turned off. We may also, if your mic is on and we can hear feedback, we might also mute you from our computer, as well. So when it's time to open your mics, we'll remind you and share a little bit about how to turn your mic on again. Okay, so now I'm going to hand it back to Heather.
Thank you for that tutorial. I know one of the things is that I often find is that I use a lot of technology, but it's amazing to me how much I forget, and so it's always great when I'm able to have a little tutorial and get me back up to speed. I'm very excited for today's topic in that we're talking about the Prevention Conference, which was literally just 2 weeks ago. And so with that, the Prevention Conference, What's Next, can you believe it? It was just not that very far ago. I know when I attend conferences, the level of empowerment and excitement is super, super high, and then I drive home and I look at all the stuff that I have to do on my desk, and lots of times my energy kind of goes down to, oh, I need to address these issues. So what we're really hoping is that this is an opportunity for you to reflect back and get back some of that excitement and really look at how and reflection of that experience on how and what you would like to have as far as a goal. So today is an opportunity to reconnect with other prevention-minded persons, other prevention conference participants, and discuss the lessons learned and next steps for prevention goals for yourself and for your community. Today is for you, and today is an opportunity for you to reconnect with those that you perhaps got an opportunity to visit with when you were at the conference. So like we said before, we have some opportunities for us to just to share, but before we do that, we'd like to give a little bit of an overview as far as the Prevention Conference, and we have Chad here today, and he's going to share with you just some of the successes. He's also going to share with you the purpose of the conference and hoping that we were able to reach that. And then he's also going to have some photos. And as you noticed, we had Michelle was taking lots of photos throughout the day, and we have some of those that we'd like to share. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Chad, and he's going to share just a little bit with us.
Thanks, Heather. Can you all hear us okay? Can someone type something in the chat that lets us know that you can hear us? It's just to check.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, very good.
We can hear ourselves.
We can hear ourselves. Just wanted to make sure before we got too far down the road, because I've done that where I've been talking for a while and didn't check to see if people could hear me. And I just assumed that the silence was agreement, and so I just kept saying things. But thank you for welcoming me to Prevention Talks today, and I'm glad that you all could join us and have dedicated some of the time of your day to this important part of our work in prevention. So I am going to do a little bit of a brief recap of the conference as we scroll through some pictures. The purpose of the conference really was to help to fit with our theme of connecting communities. And our goal really was to look at how the conference could be a useful way to connect communities that can get together and talk about things that they're focused on in their own communities and help connect with other communities with some similar interests. So especially focusing on substance abuse prevention, we wanted to include a good focus on other aspects of behavioral health and promotion and prevention. And so the idea was to help connect communities with other communities, and then also to think about ways to connect your community within itself. So the conference presentations fit right in line with that, and starting with Wednesday night was evening social and a award ceremony where we were able to get together, and we were really pleasantly surprised at how many people did show up the evening before the conference really got underway for the full day on Thursday, because there were around 100 people Wednesday night, and so that was a really good turnout for that event. And it was a short evening as far as planned activities, but I know that people did connect with each other after the kind of official social and networking event. And so that gives us good confidence that we can plan future conferences with an evening activity, evening event that can help us get together and connect with each other in some informal ways that really can be valued, in some ways maybe more so or at least equal to the benefits of going through the educational parts of the conference during the full session days. So Wednesday night we started gathering around 5 or 5:30 and had an awards ceremony with some, they were called heavy appetizers, a light meal or heavy appetizers. And it was a good time to connect with people who had been involved in prevention for maybe many years, maybe decades, and then also some folks who were new to the world of prevention in Kansas. And so we were honored to have Monica Kurz, the director of the Kansas the Prevention for Suicide Resource Center at Headquarters Incorporated, and Monica offered her service in this way as the evening MC to get things going for Wednesday night, and that led into an overview of what the conference objectives were. She did talk about how the objectives included increasing your knowledge and awareness related to prevention of suicide and alcohol, tobacco, and other drug abuse. Another objective was to increase your connection or reach through educational opportunities and networking. Another one was increase your knowledge of ways to connect with your community and others to advocate for best practices in prevention. And then the fourth objective for the conference was to increase your knowledge about prevention activities currently underway in Kansas. We were honored to have a good group of sponsors. Excuse me, we had 11, I believe, sponsoring the conference this year. Which was great for the first year. We had the Association of CMHCs of Kansas, or ACMHCK. We had DECA, Headquarters, Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services, or KDADS, Kansas Department of Health and Environment, or KDHE, had 2 divisions, 2 areas sponsoring. We had sponsorship from the Learning Tree Institute at Greenbush, NAMI Kansas, STAND from Harvey County, Wichita State University's Community Engagement Institute, University of Kansas Center for Community Health and Development, or CCHD, and Valley Hope. And so it was great to have that group sponsoring and offering their exhibit tables as they were able through the conference on that full day. Our keynote speaker, well, I guess before I talk about our keynote speaker, I'll finish talking a little bit more about Wednesday night. We did have, for this first Kansas Prevention Conference, 2018, we had a good group of awards that were offered, and people recommended the winners for these, and the subcommittee of the planning committee chose the award winners, and those included the Kansas Partner in Prevention Award. It was presented to Pam Stevens, and the Kansas Prevention Education Award was presented to Holly Boyer. The Kansas Prevention Youth Leadership Award was presented to Elijah Reddington, or Eli Reddington. The Kansas Prevention Community Leader Award was presented to Des Martins, and the Kansas Prevention Connected Community of the Year Award was presented to SCDAT, or Sumner County Community Drug Action Team. And the Kansas Prevention Sally Zeller's Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Max Wilson. And it was really incredible from my perspective at how some things came together and connected for the conference, because not only did we have this first run of awards, and the first run of the awards including an award named in the honor of Sally Zellers, who had been a prevention pioneer in Kansas, especially in the Topeka area. So it was really cool to see how things lined up and connected, and it feels like it came together in ways that we probably couldn't have planned so well for them to come together. So the MC for the award ceremony, the presenter of the awards, was Reverend Dave Fulton, or Pastor Dave as he's known in the Wichita area. And Pastor Dave was a part of the original Safe Streets in Topeka, Kansas, and worked very closely with Sally Zellers in that way. Pastor Dave was also the minister who married Sally and Don Zellers, so it was incredible that he could be the person giving out that award. And he was one of the people that we checked in early on about, he and Don, if they would feel like it would be okay and honorable for us to name a prevention award after Sally. And then that award, for it to go to Max Wilson, was also really special, and I will admit that I teared up a little bit when Max received the award and spoke. It was just a really good, powerful time for that to come together in such a good, healing, and encouraging way. So Max went to the podium and said a few words and talked about how some of Sally's family and friends had traveled from far away to join our award ceremony night. So we know that we had people that came from as far as Michigan to come to the Kansas Prevention Collaborative Conference in 2018, which is really, really cool. Then we watched the Suicide Prevention PSA video that Kayla Prawl and Michelle Edwards here in the room with me, that they had directed and filmed and edited and put a lot of work into, and a lot of that was supported by a lot of volunteers in the community that offered their time and dedication, and so it turned out to be a really, really good, impactful video, and we were glad that we were able to share that Wednesday night. Then we wrapped up as far as official programming things, and helped ourselves to extra plates of strawberry shortcake and extra shrimp cocktail that you could drink, I think. I'm not sure. There were some interesting new things that I haven't tried before, but so it was good to have those, and then also some strawberry shortcake. So then we had a pretty good, relaxing rest of the evening. A lot of people that had attended stayed in the hotel and convention center and connected after that into the late hours of the night. Then we started back up again on Thursday, and we had, and I guess I'll pause, I'm not paying attention to the chat. Is there anything that I need to respond to at this point? Okay, all right, I'll go on. And so then on Thursday morning, we started off with for me, felt like, yeah, it was just really, really exciting and energizing to have Carlton Hall as our keynote speaker. Carlton Hall is the president and CEO of Carlton Hall Consulting, LLC, which has been described by the consulting firm as a multifaceted, full-service consulting firm designed to provide customized solutions and enable measurable change for communities, organizations, families, and individuals. Carlton has a wealth of experience in prevention and had been connected with CADCA, or the Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America, in several leadership roles. He's known internationally, and he was great to work with before the conference. He was actually recommended as a keynote speaker by Pat Brame and Vicki Gabar from Quality of Life Coalition in Dickinson County, who had known him from before. And actually, when I called Carlton to ask him if he'd be interested in being a keynote presenter and had some email conversations with him early on, he actually had asked me about Sally Zellers. So just another kind of thing that was an incredible connection that we couldn't have planned any better. So Carlton he knew Sally from before, from her work in Kansas and connected with CADCA. So it was really cool to see and have him here, knowing some of our history. Carlton did a great job of connecting his presentation to, you could tell in his presentation that he had done quite a bit of research on what's being done in Kansas, and he was able to talk about some things that are highlights about prevention in our state, which was really, really encouraging to hear and to see, and he was a great person to interact with, even when he wasn't on stage. Then we moved into a full day of sessions. We had 4 breakout session times with 4 topics, 4 presentations during each of those breakouts. And it was great to see all of the really high level of capacity and good experience in a lot of different areas of prevention in Kansas offer their presentations. So we had a suicide prevention focused session during each breakout time, and then we had different alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and also some connecting communities presentations offered throughout the day. So it was a really good day. It felt like a great conference, especially for our first one. Over 200 people registered and attended, and so that was great to feel the energy in the room and to see that there is an interest in learning how to connect communities in prevention in Kansas. And so it was felt like enough of a success that we've already started planning much earlier this year for the next conference, and it will be next year, probably around the same time. Dates will be set soon, but we are going to have Kansas Prevention Conference 2019, and so we're in the early stages for planning the theme for that, and are really looking forward to what we can do more of and try to do better for making it a good experience for everybody involved. Before I wrap up my recap, I did want to mention the Planning Committee and offer some thanks excuse me, to the Planning Committee that did put in a lot of dedicated work outside of their normal job duties. So Andy Brown from KDADS, Jelena Carmichael from Halstead Community Foundation, Lisa Cheney from Greenbush, some guy named Chad, Jordan Fairburn from American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network, David Frizzell from the Kansas Department of Commerce, Kimmy Gardner from KDADS, Vicki Gabar from Quality of Life, Monica Kurz from Headquarters, Kristen Machado from DECA, Des Martins from Mirror Incorporated, Chrissy Mayer from DECA, Leanne Mullen from Community Engagement Institute, Jordan Roberts from KDHE, Jerry Schultz from KU, Janelle Stang from Community Engagement Institute, and Heather Winklepleck from here as well. So another round of thanks for all of you, and really did appreciate the work and appreciated people attending and coming and making the conference great. We felt like we put on a good kind of frame for a conference, but it really was made that much better by the people that did come and attend and present, and just the relationships that were established and grown through the process were maybe an immeasurable benefit of having the conference this year. And I will stop probably on my comments and turn it back over to Heather, and thank you all for the time to just talk through a recap of the conference.
As I said before, I can't believe it's already been 2 weeks and all the success that came from that conference. One of the things that I think is really important, and I believe everyone around this table and probably around the state will agree, is that conferences are great if we're able to take those resources and continue the growth. And but it's not just a one-time I went and didn't do anything wet. So this is that opportunity where we're coming back together, reflecting on that experience, planning, looking to do better, connecting, and looking at ways that, as those that are here, how else we can get involved and building again from that peer-to-peer learning. We have a couple of poll questions, and from those poll questions, it's just our opportunity to get some conversations started and also maybe have some of that reflection that we keep talking about. Poll questions are really exciting in that how you're able to do these, and I might let Janelle talk a little bit more because she gives a much better, more technical, much clearer description of things. I'm a little too fluffy, so I'm going to let Janelle describe how poll questions will work.
All right, so you should see the poll, the first poll on your screen right now. The question, what grabbed your attention at the prevention conference? Right under the question, you'll see the little white box that says type your answer here. Feel free, I believe you can enter multiple responses. So type in there what grabbed your attention at the prevention conference. All answers are anonymous, so your name will not be attached to it. But everyone will be able to see your response. And then after everyone has a chance, we'll be quiet, let everybody have a chance to respond, and then we will open the mics back up. So we are going to mute our mics for a minute.
That's funny, dude. That is right, Chad. That's funny.
Okay, just a moment. We just realized because Chad put in Juan's name, we realized that if you try to enter a second one, it takes away your first one. So if you have multiple things, just put like a comma and put them all together. So, okay, we're going to give you guys some more time. So a couple more minutes.
Out? I'm angry. Check out.
I really am enjoying looking at all these responses, and one of the things that I find often is there's so many things that grab individuals' attentions, and there's so many things that really add to the experience. And I would like to provide an opportunity that if there's anything that you'd like to expand upon, if you want to grab the mic, and when I say grab the mic, if you called in and mute your phone, if you did it through the computer, through audio of your computer, just unmute your computer audio. And if you wanted to expand on any of that, this is an opportunity that you could do so. Anyone who knows me knows I really struggle with that quiet time, so I will take that as my cue that you fully captured what were those items that grabbed your attention at the prevention conference. I will say that one of the things that is as key, as I said before, there's a lot of different items up here and there's a lot of similar items, but this is really telling in the sense as far as within the planning for the next year. With our diverse attendees, I think it's very important that we are able to really provide different resources and I always call them grabbers or hooks that will get individuals interested in prevention, and then we'll take that prevention resource back to their community. So with that being said, I will let you know too that we're going to save these answers or these responses. And these, again, will be, perhaps we will use some of these in our follow-up where we will be having another opportunity in December, but we'll also use these for the planning committee and maybe guiding some of the decisions that are made for the upcoming. So with that being said, let's pull up our other poll question. When thinking about the conference, what did the conference highlight that you struggle with in your community?
We'll give everyone about 3 or 4 minutes to answer this one, and then we will unmute our mic and come back on.
What did the conference highlight that you struggled?
Again, all very good responses and very telling. One of the things I'd like, maybe perhaps just as a follow-up, and might be something would be a good discussion. Some of the things that you should highlight in the struggle within your community. Do you feel like you were able to receive some resources or receive some tools that you could take back to your community and lessen that struggle or reduce that barrier? Were there some resources that you found from the conference that did help with that?
Feel free to use your mic or type in the chat box for Heather's question.
a slow reader, sorry. I'm rereading some that you have on there. Well, I do hope that the conference did highlight some of those resources and those topics that will be useful for you within your communities, and we'll continue to focus on that. I do hope also that you recognize and were able to connect with other community members or counties that were close, or even across the state that might have some resources that are available. There might even be some persons on the conference right now that you met with at the prevention conference that has additional resources available. I think we'll go ahead and pull up then our next poll question. Thinking of the next conference, the planning committee, we meet very regular, and as Chad had indicated earlier, the planning is going to be beginning very soon. So very much would welcome any suggestions that would be helpful for your coalition, you personally, and your communities as a whole. I'm going to give lots of time for you to think on that, and Janelle will mute our mic again and give you that time to reflect.
A bottle of water. I'll take it.
You bring it out.
I'll put it in.
All right.
Battled water. Well played.
I don't know if we can get in central Kansas battled water, but you never know. Thank you very much for those suggestions. One of the things I do want to put on your radar or put someplace and have in the back of your mind to constantly be thinking of is that we do have a follow-up where we're going to encourage persons to come back, especially from the prevention conference. But if any time you do find that there are topics or you have suggestions, the planning committee is always open for those recommendations. And one of the things that we find is that there's a tremendous amount of energies that are put into those planning conferences, and not just from the planning committee, but from those that are attending. So if the conference provides a resource, if that conference provides a tool that you're able to really utilize within your community, that's a success. And then we feel as though we're able to pat ourselves on the back that the energy and time spent was well used. With that in mind, one of the things that I would encourage every participant online to think about was there something in the breakout sessions that you learned or maybe was presented in a different way that helped you in taking back into your coalition or within your community to expand some of the prevention within your community? Or was there something that you learned in one of the breakout sessions that was kind of one of your aha moments? And again, we'll open the mic, or if you'd like to put in the chat that opportunity, but thinking back again, reflecting back on the conference and those breakout sessions. Oh, actually, Janelle, she is on top of it. I tell you what, those behind-the-scenes helpers are awesome, but she just helped with adding it as a poll question. So
is that how you spell aha?
It works for me.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind putting that in the poll way, and then that way we can learn different ways from each other too. So those aha moments.
Holly.
Probably 5'2".
5'2".
Again, thank you. And one of the things I often find with aha moments, it's amazing to me how many conferences and trainings that I've been to over the years, and I often feel like, oh, there's not much more for me to really keep in my brain, but there's always something more to learn, and I found many aha moments at the Prevention Conference. Thank you for sharing these, and again, one of those ways that we can always expand and better our prevention efforts is constantly learning. So again, thank you very much for sharing those aha moments, because those really assure us that we're going in the right direction. And it also, I think this is a really great opportunity for those that are in attendance right now to reflect back on what those learning opportunities were during the training and how we might engage this within our community. this has gone by so fast. I just looked at the time and couldn't believe that we were already at the 12:40 mark. But one of the things that I would like to offer is that we are going to, again, offer another opportunity for us to come together. There will be other questions and other opportunities to perhaps engage with past prevention conference attendees. I'm going to always be encouraging prevention coalitions to join us, but we will have another prevention conference, keeping it going, and it will be, how's it going, and that will be December 6th. But our next prevention talks that we will have in our regularly scheduled time will be Thursday, November the 1st. We'll have the Community Toolbox, and we will have Christina Holt from the University of Kansas at the Dole Institute, and she'll be sharing all the different resources that are available on the Community Toolbox. I have been on it for years and years and years, and every time I get there, there's something else that it amazes me, just another tool and another way to look at prevention within your community, and so just some really good resources, and it's all free. And so one of the things that I'm often sharing with communities that don't have any funding is this is a resource too that is free, and communities can use it at their disposal. So mark your calendar, November 1st. You'll also notice that we do have that December 6th. That's how's it going, and then January 3rd, talking to the media, and February 7th, National Problem Gambling Awareness, and we will have a speaker sharing lots of great resources there. The only way Prevention Talks is going to get better is if we get some feedback and some evaluations from participants. And so we do ask that before you completely disconnect from the meeting and get back to life and doing good things within your community, if you would take just a couple of minutes and fill out that evaluation and feedback. It's really simple. You can just click, can you click onto it right there?
Yes, so in the box that says web links, if you hover over Prevention Talks evaluation, it turns blue, and you can click that, and it will open a new browser and take you to the evaluation.
I want to thank you very much for your time, and before I let you go, I will share with you that we are starting a new way to remind and encourage participation in Prevention Talks, and that we are providing Outlook calendar reminders. It's something that if it's added to your calendar, we're hoping in that way when you're in the middle of something, it'll remind you, and then you'll be able to be there. If that is something that you're interested in, I'm going to add my email address. If you send me an email that you would like reminders to the Prevention Talks training, then I will send a Outlook calendar reminder, and I'll have on there the topic, and it will also have within that Outlook, it will have the link that you can directly connect to. If you want just for a specific month, let me know that also, but if you just want that ongoing, I will definitely get that available to you. Again, thank you.